Test, test, test. Welcome into today's Sunday Tender Yoga with Reiki. My name's Jen. If you're just joining, that's wonderful. We're just getting started with this live stream today. I'm streaming today on YouTube and on TikTok. Please let me know in the chat how the sound is, the background music, and the voice. For today's session, I recommend using some yoga blocks if you have them handy. I'm also sitting on a bolster today. I hope that you're having a great weekend so far. Let's come into an easy Sukhasana seated position here as we begin our yoga session, situating the body in space and time, and beginning to breathe with ease here. Just noticing the ebb and flow of the breath. Coming into this space of ease now, arriving. Just being here, being present with the breath, being present with the body. Good. On your next inhale, let's raise our arms up overhead, gathering pranic energy. Extending out from the sits bones here, elongating the spine. Good. And just reaching the arms one by one. Hands extending toward the sky. Exhaling, taking your right arm to the floor as we move into some side body bending. Moving with the slow flow of the breath. Exhaling to bend. Inhaling, coming back to center. Feel free to take 2 or 3 breaths as well if you'd like to slow this down even more as we move into the side body. Grounding both hips into the floor as we continue to bend and awaken the spine. Good. Coming back to center, inhaling up and out of the hips. Exhaling, bringing the arms back to the legs, letting the elbows settle, palms facing up in a gesture of receiving. Good. Moving into some neck opening now. Beginning to awaken through the neck as you drop one ear to one shoulder, letting the head fall. Breathing into the side of the neck. Exhaling, rolling chin to chest. Inhaling, bringing your ear to the other shoulder. And just letting go here. Releasing the weight of the cranium. Letting the ear fall. Good. On your next exhale, rolling chin to chest and moving with the breath now. Inhaling ear to shoulder, exhaling chin to chest. Moving into the nooks and crannies of the neck. Beginning to move in maybe some back exploration as you dip your cranium toward the back wall. Reversing the direction when that feels good. And lingering wherever you need to linger. Perhaps nodding your chin right and left where that feels good. Just becoming lucid of the needs of the neck. Good. On your next inhalation, let's drop right ear to right shoulder. I welcome you to take your left hand into the crook of your right elbow here to get a little extra stretch. Now, if you can't quite make that bind, you can just take that left hand away from the neck side that you're stretching. Just letting go here, dropping the head. Good. Let's inhale, head to center, arms extended wide. And let's take that shape on the other side, tucking the right hand into the crook of the left elbow as you drop left ear to left shoulder. Taking the variation here, if you can't quite make the bind, that's okay. And letting go of the tension of the head. Good. Inhaling back to center, taking the arms wide. Thank you for the donation on YouTube. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Good. Inhaling the heart up here. And exhaling, releasing the arms down to your lap. Let's take some Kundalini circles here as we continue. Engaging the spine, taking some small circles. Inhaling the heart space forward. And exhaling, rounding the lungs to the back. Adding in some circles with the head here as you undulate through the spine. And reversing direction when you're ready. Just luxuriating in the sensation of the spine as it begins to awaken and unfurl. Good. Coming back to a neutral position here, let's go ahead and open our legs into a wide-legged seated shape here. I still have my hips lifted up on the bolster, but you can feel free to come down. It's up to you. From here, finding an upright and proud position, rolling the shoulder caps back and down, and igniting the chest, the heart space with breath. Good. Toes are flexed up, and there's strength in your feet here. In fact, you can even give those feet a little wiggle back and forth just to remind your body that they're there. Sometimes we can forget the feet in yoga. From here, let's begin a little swaying in our wide-legged seated position as we breathe right and left. Beginning to soften. Discovering a gingerness, a litheness in the shoulders here. A sway that's gentle and calming. Good. As we continue this movement, bringing in some organic and gentle engagement of the elbows and shoulders. Perhaps a small twist in the torso as we move from side to side. Whatever that looks like for you as you explore this opening. Good. You might close your eyes here as you continue to move the arms and torso through space in a way that allows you to feel easeful in this wide-legged shape. Good. On your next inhalation, breathing the arms up and over, reaching high. Exhaling as we begin to forward fold here. Taking our time, crawling out hand by hand into a folding position. There's no need to go low. I'd like you to try to keep your shoulders rolled back and your back fairly straight in this position. We're not doing the rounded back variation. On your next inhale, pressing through the left hand as we revolve toward the right, lifting the right arm high. Exhaling, coming back to neutral, and moving with the breath as we go through a few revolutions here. Slowing down the breath, staying mindful of a cool and easy flow. Not forgetting to enliven the toes and the feet here, bringing energy to those feet as they flex and are strong in this pose. Good. Coming back into a forward fold shape, taking your time here, perhaps bringing elbows down to the mat. You can even raise the floor for yourself by using a block or two in this shape so that you can rest your elbows comfortably here, breathing the heart forward and just encouraging the inner thighs to release. Good. On your next inhalation, walking the hands back toward you, taking another inhale in that proud shape. Taking hands under knees, bending knees, and coming into, we're going to move into a half Lord of the Fishes posture here. I've moved my bolster off to the side, having a bent left knee, crossing the right knee over, toes and knee facing forward in alignment. Go ahead and hug that knee into the chest as you settle the hips down into the mat. So think about sinking that right hip heavily down into the mat here. As you breathe, inhaling the chest up and proud. Exhaling as we revolve toward that hugged knee. Keeping your chin in alignment with your sternum here, so we're not looking all the way to the back of the room, but we're aligning our chest and our head, our heart and our mind in this shape. Good. Just breathing here. On your next exhalation, let's align our shins together as we bring ankle over knee on both sides. We're moving into a very fiery and challenging posture here of double pigeon or Firelog. Now, a couple recommendations. If you can't get knee to ankle on either side, you can go ahead and fill in the space with a blanket or a bolster or a block, making sure that you're filling in any space that needs filling so that you can let go, right? Letting go in yoga can be hard, but it is possible, right? So taking care of your body where it's at right now. Here in Firelog, inhaling the heart forward and up as we begin to walk forward incrementally in this very hefty shape for the hips. Feel free to add in some swaying here, encouraging the hips to soften and let go. Taking your time, even raising the floor here to bring it closer to you in Firelog, which can offer a lot of ease and satisfaction for the hips. Allowing the shape to be alive. So feel free to move in it in a way that feels good for you. She said, I already told ya, yeah. I never dated a black guy. I said you're brown yourself. Using the breath to guide you even more deeply into the succulence of this posture. Maybe letting go through the neck and head, perhaps rounding through the spine. Whatever you feel you need in Firelog. And on your next inhalation, walking the hands back, taking your hands into Anjali Mudra as we begin to revolve toward the top foot. If you'd like to take a full revolution, you can hook your right elbow into the, what is that word called on the foot? The arch. There it is. The arch of your foot. And using that as a little leverage as you breathe the sternum toward your thumbs. On your next inhale, coming back to center, breathing into an upright Firelog shape. And let's untwist those legs. Leaning back in a reclined position, taking some windshield wiper movements as we let go through those hips. Good. Coming back to center, bending your right leg to the floor. Let's find half Lord of the Fishes with our left leg bent. Go ahead and situate your left hip to the floor. Just to drop it all the way down, wiggling around a little to equalize the hips, hugging the knee into the chest, and finding an upright, proud shape. From here, beginning to move with the breath, inhaling the crown and heart up, exhaling to revolve the heart with the chin into a deeper revolution. Breath by breath, breathing into the hips, breathing into the back lungs. Good. Coming back to center, taking this top leg, crossing knee over ankle on both sides. Once again, making sure that you're filling in any space. So if your knee is up high, this knee is up high, whatever it looks like, fill it in with some blocks, blankets, or bolsters. That will help you let go and move deeper into the posture. Breathing high and strong into the chest. Taking your time on your exhale to walk this asana forward. Coaxing the hips to soften. Inviting Firelog to be a story told slowly. Taking your time to find a full expression in this forward fold, remembering that you can always bring the floor up to you so you can let go a little bit more deeply. Honoring your hips. On your next inhale, walking back to an upright shape, taking Anjali Mudra as we revolve toward that top foot. Hooking elbow to arch here, keeping sternum and thumb connected. Inhaling, coming back to center. Let's go ahead and unwind this with some windshield wiper movements. As we move into a tabletop shape, sweeping the legs to one side, coming onto all fours, and moving directly into some cat-cow. Ironing out the spine here with the breath. Good. On your next inhalation, extending your right leg behind you, toes to the floor, as we begin to roll over and through the toes and ball of the foot. Waking up the ankles, waking up the calves here, and the toes of the feet. Dropping heel to the floor at a 90-degree angle and inhaling into parighasana gate. Feeling connected through the touch points where your body is touching down to earth. Good. On your next inhalation, finding your balance as you inhale to an upright shape in gate. Inhaling all the way over into what we might call exalted gate. Stretching that side body, feeling your balance. Exhaling back to parighasana and tabletop. Good. Exhaling, left leg behind you, toes to the floor as we rock forward and back. Flipping toes, stretching through the ball of the foot. And awakening the calf. Dropping heel to the side at a 90-degree angle and inhaling into parighasana. Extending through the bottom side body here, that right side body as well as the left. Expanding through from shoulder to shoulder as we inhale, finding our balance in parighasana and moving into an exalted shape here, lingering here as we open the right side body. On your next exhalation, finding your way back to parighasana, closing the hip for tabletop, and taking some cat and cow here just to let go. Good. Extending that right leg again behind you, and this time stepping it through into anjaneyasana, low lunge. We're not going to stay in low lunge for long. Heel toeing that knee out to the side as we come into lizard here. Dropping those hips, raising the floor up if you need to. I know I like to here so I can lift my heart a little higher. And breathing the heart space forward and up here in lizard. Good. From here, on your next inhalation, revolving over that front knee. And coming back into lizard. Removing the block if you used a block. Heel toeing that foot back into alignment with the hip as you tuck the toes of your left foot under, pressing up here into a high crescent lunge. Exhaling, arms behind the back, taking a bind here of your choice, maybe elbow to hand, or clasping hands behind the back. Good. I'm going to turn the other way so you can see me better from the side. Good. Dropping your back heel to a 90-degree angle as you turn the hips forward, hips and chest forward, inhaling into trikonasana here, taking your time as this posture unfurls. Feeling free to use a block here if that feels good for you. Imagining that the body is pressed like a flower in a scrapbook, pressed between two panes of glass, perfectly straight and in alignment. Good. If you'd like to revolve your triangle here, you can take your right arm, left arm down to the block or floor and begin to revolve over that front knee. Good. Unwinding, coming back to your trikonasana. Closing the hip here, coming back to crescent. And finding your way now back to your tabletop position. Letting that go in cat-cow. Extending left leg behind you and stepping that leg through. Finding lizard as you widen your stance. And breathing the heart forward. Dropping the hips ever deeper here. And rising the heart. On your next inhalation, revolving over that bent leg in lizard. Exhale, taking that hand back down, coming into your full expression of lizard. Maybe taking it even lower, if that feels good for you. Removing the block if you used one as you heel toe your foot back into alignment with your hip, tucking back toes and coming up to a strong high crescent lunge here. Exhaling, hands behind you in a bind of your choice. Exhaling, back heel to 90 degrees, turning the hips to face forward and moving into trikonasana here, coming into triangle pose, using any props that you might need as you situate the bones into this triangle shape. If you'd like to revolve your triangle, taking your right hand to the floor or block and revolving over that bent knee. Exhaling, coming back to trikonasana. On your next exhale, closing your hip, removing the block if you used it, and finding crescent. On your next inhale, stepping that back leg forward, coming to a mountain shape at the top of your mat. Inhaling, arms overhead. Exhaling, swan diving, forward fold, uttanasana, dropping the head. Inhaling, halfway lift, ardha uttanasana. Exhale, uttanasana. Inhale, rooting to rise, coming all the way up to standing. Exhale, Anjali Mudra at the sternum. Good. Taking a moment here, finding mountain pose. And breathing. Sensating into the body, feeling the sensations of the breath. Good. Moving into some standing shapes here, some balancing. When you're ready, inhaling your right leg to your chest. Finding your drishti, your gaze, and your balance. Good. Feeling the strength of your supporting leg here. Feeling free to wobble and lose your balance as well. That's okay. On your next exhale, letting that leg find the floor, letting go through the hips. And on your next inhalation, rising your left knee to chest. Breathing the heart forward and finding stability. Good. Exhaling, releasing that leg down, letting go through the hips here. I'm just taking some circles with my hips. Good. Coming back to lifting that right leg. You're welcome to stay here, or this time we can begin to move into a standing figure 4, crossing that right ankle right above the knee, so not on the knee. As we begin to sit our hips back and low, trying to bring our shins parallel with the mat. Reaching back with the hips. Reaching back. Good. Perhaps taking your hands into Anjali Mudra. And if you'd like to take a revolution here, you can hook your right elbow into the arch of your left foot. Or not. It's up to you. Good. When you're ready, taking your time and coming out of figure 4, shaking it out, letting that go, and giggling a little at yourself. If you lost balance or fell out, giving yourself credit if you tried something new. Let's try that on the left, hugging left knee in toward the chest. And if you'd like to take the figure 4, moving into that shape. Sitting the hips far back, breathing the heart space up, and relying on the strength of that leg to hold you. If you'd like to take a twist, going ahead and revolving. Finding an expression of standing figure 4 that works for you, and coming out of standing figure 4 when you're ready. Good. Letting that go. Good. Let's inhale the arms up overhead, gathering prana. And exhale, slowly letting it go. One more time, inhale, gathering pranic energy. Well done. Good. I'd like to do one more standing pose today. When you're ready, inhaling the right knee into your chest. Moving into a half lotus option here. As we move into what might look like a figure 4, taking hold of our ankle with the left hand and letting that knee drop down to the floor. Feel free to stay here in this half lotus shape. If you'd like to take this a little more deeply, you can begin a forward fold here, reaching for the floor or a block and dropping your head. On your next inhale, finding your way back to an upright shape, letting that go, shaking it out, and moving to the other side for our last standing balance. Finding a half lotus shape, taking heel and ankle to the hip, and dropping that knee down to the floor. Feel free to stay here if this feels good. If you'd like to take it a little more deeply, hinging and reaching for the floor. On your next inhale, coming back up to an upright shape and letting go. Let's find our way back to the floor, coming onto our knees. Finding an upright position. We're moving into ustrasana or camel. Inhaling the heart high, taking hands behind your back, elbows attracted to each other. As we inhale the heart up and the hips forward, keeping Jalandhara Bandha with the chin toward the chest. Each inhale breathes the heart up and out. Each exhale presses the hips to flower forward. Good. Exhaling, sitting your hips back as we come into a closed-legged balasana, child's pose. Reaching the arms out in front of you and resting your forehead to the floor. Inhaling back to tabletop, coming back to knees for our second expression of ustrasana. In this expression, feel free to take this ustrasana a little further if you'd like, into an expression that feels good for you, keeping Jalandhara Bandha and breathing the heart forward. Expanding through the lungs, through the chest, through the heart. On your next exhale, unfurling, sitting back, knees together, and finding balasana. Perhaps taking your hands to your heels here and dropping your shoulders. Finding tabletop on your next inhalation. Doing some cat and cow here to iron out the spine. Perhaps circling the hips in cat-cow to release through the hips as well. Good. Coming back to a neutral shape in tabletop as we sweep our legs off to the side, finding our way onto our backs. Hugging knees into chest. And inviting the spine to melt vertebrae by vertebrae into the earth. Opening through the shoulders. Taking one final shape here before Shavasana. Happy baby. Beginning with happy baby on one side, dropping left foot to the floor as we open the right knee and hip into a half happy baby shape. Dropping that knee toward the floor. Opening through the hip, inner thigh. Settling the right shoulder down toward the mat. On your next exhale, taking that right foot to the mat. As you inhale your left leg out into happy baby. Bringing your right hip down, equal with your left hip, sinking that right hip too into the mat. dropping the knee, opening through the thigh. Your next exhale takes that foot to the mat. And when you inhale, opening into a full happy baby here. The coccyx of your low spine seeks the earth. The shoulder blades drop into the mat as your chest opens. Softening through the thighs here. Softening through the thighs. Feel free to add some movement here, maybe some rocking back and forth. And acknowledging what a vulnerable shape happy baby can be. Acknowledging your own vulnerability. It's all right. Coming out of happy baby when you're ready, taking your feet to the floor, extending feet and legs long, reaching arms overhead and stretching long. Your next exhale brings you into Shavasana. Settling the bones here. Letting go of thoughts from the mind. Dropping the heavy emotions from the heart. Releasing. Staying in Shavasana, I will send some Reiki energy healing for you. If you'd like to accept, please do. When you're ready, bringing awareness back into the body. Feeling the chest rising higher with the breath. Dropping the chin from side to side. Wiggling fingers and toes. Bending your knees when you're ready. Dropping your knees from side to side. Coming to lie on your side or rocking forward and back on your spine as you find a seated position in your own time. Rejoicing in the sensations of an easeful body and mind. Taking Anjali Mudra, dropping forehead to fingertips. Pausing in this gesture of gratitude. Inhaling the head up, opening into lotus mudra, keeping thumbs and pinkies together. Shining the light of your practice out for anyone in need to receive. Thank you so much for joining me today for Tender Yoga with Reiki. I hope to see you on Wednesday for our Reiki ASMR practice and next Sunday for more yoga. I will stick around after class if you'd like to chat or if you have any questions, and I'll also post a recording of this yoga session on my YouTube within the next 24 hours or so. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.